Hey, I'm Jamie, Leaping Cat Model Works. Today we're going to take a look at taking a pallet that's in my shop that goes from the gray plastic to something that's going to look like this. Stay tuned and we're going to jump right into that. Alright, we're going to work on painting a pallet, and what a better way to do it today because the weather out there completely is horrible. A lot of area here is getting snow, ice, and sleet, and I'm here warm inside working on my model railroad stuff. What a better way to spend an afternoon. So here we go. We're going to take the gray palette and we're actually going to paint it. Materials you're going to need for this: I used distilled water, gray primer, and yes, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm using a paint that's called wood. It's actually Model Air Vallejo paint, wood color. You can use whatever, well, you can't use whatever. You can use whatever paint you want to use. So let's just be frank, as long as it's kind of the wood color. So let's just go ahead and get started with it. So first, the palette, why I use the water. I'm going to take my file out here. The pallets, how they're, I print them, there's a little supports on the bottom of it that you can kind of feel it's a little bit rough. If it doesn't bother you, fine. It bothers me, so I'm going to send them off. I've got a little send-in strip here, and what I'm going to do is just kind of wet it a little bit. And the reason I wet it is to keep the dust from coming up from the model and getting everywhere else. So by using the wet send-in technique, I can get the bottom smooth, and I'm just putting it on there, rubbing it back and forth. Do a little bit of circles, and there we go. We got the bottom smoothed out, and I'm going to take the top of it. The top of it is very smooth, coming out of the 3D printer. I'm just going to add just a slight texture to it to help the primer stick. And I'm just going to run it back and forth 1 or 2 times, just to give it a little bit of roughness. I'm not doing a lot of pressure to it. I'm not letting it eat into the model itself. So once that's done, take my paper here. You can use a paper towel. Today I'm trying out rice paper. A friend of mine gave me a whole, I don't know, huge supply of rice paper that they're not using anymore. And I thought it would be a good way to cut down on contaminants when I'm doing my paint work. The paper towels have little particles and stuff in there that, especially using a magnifying glass, that I start to see. So I'm trying this out as an example there. So we have it painted, we have it sanded. Now we're going to move on to the painting technique. So I'm going to use standard gray primer. This is stuff I already have mixed up. And I'm just going to put a drop here in my palette tray. And using a flat, clean brush, I'm just going to dip that in there. And I'm going to use tweezers. You can use your hands. I'm using acrylic paint. Yes, if I do a lot of these, I use my hands. I just don't feel like scrubbing after this. So here we go. I've got my paintbrush loaded up, and I'm just going to brush on top of it, going with the how the boards are kind of laid out, parallel with them. And I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing on the back. Again, just kind of getting the paint in there, and I'm not doing really complete coverage on it. I'm going to hit the sides with it. I'm going to let it dry here. Again, since we're having a really cold weather, I think the humidity right now in my house is sitting like 30% humidity. So this paint, the acrylic paint, is going to dry really rapidly. So I'm going to plop that down. Get it off my tweezers here, and that should be pretty much dry. I'm going to use a little distilled water to clean my brush, and I'm going to use the same brush. I did my thing here, and I'm just going to dip it into the water and put it on my paper to get all the stuff off of it. All right, perfect. I'm going to take my wood colored paint. I already shook it up. I've got a paint mixer here to the side. If you do a lot of painting, I really recommend looking into getting a little mixer or shaker for it. It saves a lot of headaches. And I'm just going to put a drop, a very small drop, in my palette tray. And again, using the same similar technique, and instead of using the tweezers this time, to heck with it, I use my hands. Again, the palette, my brush, it's already moist. If you're doing anything with acrylic paints, it's a good idea to moisten your brush before you stick it in there. Since I already washed it, it's already moist, so I'm ready to go with it. And I can stick my brush into the paint and just come here to the top of it, and again, using parallel strokes, just kind of go over it. First time you do this, you're going to notice that it looks kind of bright. Maybe not the best color, but just wait till it dries. So I did the front, and I'm just going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the underside of it. Now let's try to get under into the crevices. Come here to do the sides of it. Again, you don't want a huge amount of paint on your brush, just a little bit. You'd be surprised how little it would go, especially when you use a damp brush. And come do the other side. And last but not least, I'm going to do the ends of it. Alright, you can always tell it's already dry pretty much. You can blow on it, just shake it back and forth just to get some air moving across it to dry it up, and voila. You have a newish looking palette. Using this technique, you can come back, check it out, let it dry completely, and see if you need another coat or not. Most of the time I find out that you don't even need another coat. One coat's fine with it. And the basic reason for that is using the wood color paint. Most palettes, kind of after they've been out in the sun, if you look at aged palettes, it turned almost a whitish gray look anyway, and that will look close enough to this. So now you have a technique that you can produce hundreds, if not thousands of palettes using this technique. I'm using the brushing technique just to show people out there that may not have an airbrush. If I was doing that many of them, I would have used an airbrush to do them all. I do like brushing sometimes. It's more, I don't know, more meditative for me sometimes than getting all the paint out and dealing with the airbrush and things like that. Don't get me wrong, I really love my airbrush, but sometimes, you know, it's good to spice things up. So as I was saying, now you have a way to produce hundreds and thousands of these, but they're all going to look the same. Maybe that's a problem for you, maybe it's not. That's a problem for me because I don't want sameness on my layout. So we have the palette here, and it's going to look the same. So how can we change that? So I'm going to get another palette here, since I print these pretty quickly, and I'm going to do the same thing to it. And if you want diversity, this is a quick way to do it, and also a little technique and some other model techniques you can use. It's a good idea to kind of play around with stuff. So I'm going to do two of these. And again, this is kind of a more technique. If you're happy with that, so be it. It's your layout, do what you want to with it. So I got that one smoothed. Now I'm going to go ahead and do all mine. Do a few more of these here, yeah. Why not? We're here, we got the paint out, why not? So, how can we make these diverse? All right. So we have our palettes here. It's not completely dry yet. Don't want too much water on them. Actually, I enjoy this rice paper. It seems to be very absorbent. It's a rice paper that used in Chinese or Japanese calligraphy. So, we have our palettes. How are we going to make them more diverse? First, I'm going to clean my brush off, get off the paint that we just used. We used gray. So, it all starts for me with the primer. And again, there should be like 1,000 different ways to do this. This is just how I've been doing it. So first thing you want to change up the thing is your base coat. So I used a gray primer to start with. I'm actually going to use a black primer for my next one. I'm just going to put a drop 2 here in my tray. And then I'm going to do some white primer. I'll put a drop or 2 of that in my tray. I'm going to take said brush. I'm going to go ahead and start with my black primer, and I'm just going to paint my first one all black. Again, I'm just using my hands because I don't really care. It all washes off. And again, all this is acrylic that I use anyway. I used to not to like acrylic, but it's kind of grew on me lately. I used to use all enamel paints or oil-based paints, but got a little bit too chemically to deal with. So there's my first one, painted black. I'm going to stick it in my water again. I'm using this water just for cleaning right now. And I'm not so concerned with getting contaminated, so now I've got my brush ready to go, and I'm going to do the next one white. White, you have to kind of do a little bit more on there to get a decent coat or so. Go around it, do the bottom of it. Sides, make sure you do the sides. All right, there we go, and that's going to dry. And then I'm going to go really kooky. I'm going to dip it in my paint. I don't even really care. Dip a little bit into black. Pick up some white here. Even pick up some gray here. And I'm just haphazardly just kind of coating the model with this stuff. All right, so now we have basically kind of 3 variations of the primer job on it. You have the true black, the white, and then the one I just kind of randomly kind of mixed up. Let me go ahead and wash off my brush here. Actually, I'm just going to get a new brush. Same size brush I'm using, I think it's a number 2 flat brush. I'm going to load up another tray here with a little bit of water just so I can dampen the brush. And let's see, hopefully oh yeah, it's still good. I'm going to come back with my wood color and I'm going to hit it with the black one. Put a drop or 2 of paint in here. Don't worry so much if you start getting it between the cracks in the palette. You can come back and clean that up later, usually, or dry without any issues. Paint the sides of it and paint the top. Paint the bottom. I say paint the top. Since I am using a black paint, it's going to take another coat to really blend it in, depending on what you're trying to do with it. And you're going to start seeing what's going to happen here in just a second. So I'm going to let that one dry. Let me come back with my white one. Touch the bottom up. And again, I'm not too worried about painting all the details in it. You can go as crazy as you want to with it. Get inside, flip it around. There we go, there's our white one. And then the one I've kind of just mixed all the paint up on. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I got a little bit too much paint there in the middle, wiped off. I was getting overly excited here. One of the jokes I told my wife, usually I like to go for a bike ride at lunchtime when the weather is nice. Say I'm going to go into town to burn than pillage, because I get excited about burning. So it's just a little joke I have here, since I do live in Beaufort, home of Blackbeard, or so they claim. Quinn's Ann's Revenge was actually found about a mile away from Beaufort Inlet. So a little bit neat history about the town, has a lot of neat stuff in there. So we now have 3 pallets that are, well, remarkably different than our first one we did. The black one I would go over it with a few more times. When you do a darker color undercoat on it, or a primer, especially with the lighter color, wood color we're using, you're going to have to put more coats on it. What the primer does, as you can see here, if you use your lighter color primer, it gives you a little bit lighter results. Darker color one, you get darker results. By doing a little hodgepodge of the ones I got together, I kind of get a organic design on the palette. And what you end up doing with it is the black one. I'm not going to do it here because of art of video. This is one I've painted and got it, I think 2-3 coats of more paint on it would give you something like this. As you can see, it's a darker type design. The white one you can leave like it is and you're ready to go with it. And then the hodgepodge one, well, that's the spice of life. With that one you can produce palettes that are not identical. And when I say not identical, I like the shades of color on it. These here I did add a little bit more to these. I created what I call is an aged wood wash. Unfortunately, I don't give out my paint mixes anymore because I'm tired of people saying, oh, that's not how you do it. Well, you know what, it works for me, and I suggest you can look it up. There's all kinds of paint mixes out there, a wash that you can do to get it less new looking. But I can tell you right now, I combining the 3 white, black, and gray primers together and doing it like almost like a camouflage, a random organic type pattern on it before you put your paint, you get some really unique looking palettes that look like they're, you know, belong anywhere. That actually looks like they've been used and things like that. For the wash, if you're interested in doing a wash on it, going to put a drop there. I'm going to use my brush I was using for my primer, and I just dip it in there. Which one feels like a lot? You know what? I'm going to do another dark one here. I have. And the wash is just that. It's really loose. Not loose is not a good word. Watered down paint. And this is a mixture of kind of grayish, not black, but a mixture of a few things I've been kind of experimenting with on the wash. And the wash I kind of change up over time anyway, because again, I don't want all my things looking like the same. So that one I kind of put a wash on, and that one, yeah, I should actually put another coat of paint on there, which is fine. I can come back and do that later, and I can put another wash on this one. But ultimately, at the end of the day, with a little bit of practice here, a little bit of work, actually, it's best that you don't care at all. Just see what happens when you piece it together, and you ended up with things that look unique. You can even come back and put other little oral marks on it, things like that. If you wanted to go a little bit step further, again, not all pallets are complete squares. They're not even completely put together. You can take the pallet using your hobby knife, cutters or whatever. You can actually come in, let's see here, and I'm just twisting it. Oh, my blade. I didn't have that in there tight enough. And come in and cut through it and actually make broken boards. There we go. There we go. Oh, I went flying across the room. Never going to find that again. So there, using a sharp tool or your tweezers or your clips, whatever, you can come in and then kind of dress up the palette how you want it. Because not all the palettes are the same. Some of them have broken boards. Just go out to a pallet yard. You can go to your favorite convenience store, I'm going to say Walmart, or whatever big box retail store. More than likely they have a stack of pallets behind them, and just get a quick glance of them. You find out the majority of them are broken or missing boards and things like that. So this is a quick way you can come in and do it. You can even snap them in half if you want to, and get a whole bunch of variety on your layout from one single design. So there you have it. That's a quick, easy way to get some unique interestness on your layout. I try to avoid having everything look the same because in the real world, that's not the case. Everything's not the same in the real world, especially with weather and things like that. Yeah, newly manufactured stuff, pretty much. But as things age and things like that, they are used, things happen to them, they all look different. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't, check out the pallets. I've got the link here in the bottom of the video on YouTube to my website where I sell these. I also sell skids, which is very similar design. If you're looking for a skid, same technique will be used to paint them. And I think that covers it. And I hope everybody has a great, safe, warm day today, and hope the power stays on, and I don't know. Wish everybody a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Have a great day.